Hello all, George Shively on board a SeaRay 370 Express that we're getting ready to do a complete electronics refit on. As you can see by the radar arch on the far starboard side, you have a terrestrial TV antenna, the older but fairly reliable Raytheon XX system, and then a small FM antenna. As we proceed down the port gunnel, I'm going to go take a look at the lower helm real quick and kind of take a before and during and after. This is what the helm looks like currently. Pretty straightforward. In the left corner there, the upper left, is the radar display, the R41 XX radar display. Above that is the autopilot to the right and above. ICOM M602 VHF, that will be remaining. We're going to keep that. That's an excellent radio. The Garmin 2006C, an older unit, but certainly reliable, but definitely dated. And we also have a Ray Pilot. And down in the lower left here, we've got an L750 sounder. What we're going to do on this boat is we're going to retrofit it to Garmin equipment. Garmin really has come quite a long way in the past couple of years, and is really very suitable for a boat like this. So we're going to get started here. All the tools are in place, and we'll get going. And as I said, we'll take some pictures kind of before, during, and after, and give you an idea what this looks like from the start, and then what it's going to look like at the end. So stand by. Folks, we're back again. As you can see, the most of the marine electronics have been removed from the dash. Most of the panels have been opened up, and now what we're faced with here is a lot of wiring. And what I like to do is remove all the old wiring. You know, not just cut it and tuck it back, but really remove it. If it doesn't serve a function on the boat anymore, let's get rid of it and keep it nice and clean, so that if and when service is necessary on the boat, making sure that all the wiring behind the dash is just as neat as the finished installation that the client can see. So that's something I feel is very important. So just checking in here to show you kind of what's going on at the moment. We've opened up some access hatches on the starboard arch to gain access to the wiring that's up in the arch for the radar. And we're continuing moving along. We're back again. I just kind of wanted to give an update here on what's been going on. Still in the process here of removing old wiring. As you can see, we had to take out the majority of the helm. There was an installation here prior to some of the gear that was here that we saw initially, and that wiring was all left in the helm, and that's not something I'm just real comfortable with. So I always like to try to get that out if I can. As you can see, there's a fair amount of wiring here. Just as an example, everything that you see coming out of the helm here, try to direct it as best as I can here. All of this and most of this right here is the result of wiring that was just left in the helm from an old installation. Again, I'm not a big fan of that, because when you go ahead to work on the boat, you want to not have any of that stuff really in the boat. It can cause difficulties when troubleshooting. You don't know if the wires are live or dead. It's just something you want to try to avoid. This whole interface box right here really was not functional at all. But it was tied up and left inside the helm. So that, of course, will be coming out. So just a touch base. Hey everyone, George Shively back here on board the 37 SeaRay. I've done a little bit of work. Thought I'd check in and show you what is going on so far. The radar has been installed up on the arch. Got a little adapter plate there, and the radar is on. And you'll also see the GPS antenna has been installed. The other thing that we're working on right now is kind of trying to get all the the gear in the helm straightened away, all of our wires in there. As you can see, we're building a NEMA 2000 network for high-speed data transfer between the autopilot and 2 displays and GPS antenna. The autopilot processor has been screwed down, as has the GSD-22 Garmin sonar system. The hole that you see in this area right here, we're actually going to modify that a little bit, and we're going to make a larger panel. This panel is going to actually become larger and go over this whole area. We could certainly just put a piece of corian over that and to cover that hole, but in my discussions with the client, I suggested remaking this panel. I have this SeaRay material, so we'll re-etch the new panel and make that larger to cover the whole area, and that's where the VHF radio will go. Kind of customize the boat a little bit, make it look like it just rolled off the line that way. So that's kind of where we're at right now. A lot of wiring today. We're going to do some power wiring, and that's about it for now. Back on the 37 SeaRay here, gonna do the final installation today and get everything kind of put back and looking sharp. Have to put the side panel back in, have to put the new panel in that we showed you before in that spot right there, and we can take a look to see, at least initially, how that's going to look. It's going to really look sharp and give the boat just a nice look. Unfortunately, the owner did not decide to replace the main switch panel. There's certainly going to be a color shift between the two, but the owner decided to kind of stop there and maybe entertain that idea later in the year or possibly next year. The wiring that you see hanging out of the helm right here, this all right here goes to the 15212 display. This connection that you see right here gets connected onto the autopilot. And one of the things I really want to point your attention to, excuse the shadows, is this backbone right here in the back of the helm. Let me see if I can't get some more light in there. That's the right in there is the NEMA 2000 backbone. You see all those plugs going into that long bar. That's the NEMA 2000 backbone. Very important high-speed data transfer. Everything is labeled. The little labels that you see at the top of the plugs coming in from the bottom indicate what the purpose is of the cable, and that's so that if there's any service needs in the future, we'll be able to tell very quickly what we have and what's plugged into where. As you can see, the Garmin GSD-22 black box sounder is located right there, and that's about it at this point. We've got to put the switches back in the new panel, mount the panel, and put the main panel back in, and this installation will be complete except for sea trials and of course owner orientation. So we'll be back when I have the finished product to show you. Hey everyone, George Shively back with you on the refit, the electronics refit on the 370 SeaRay. Everything is done at this point. We haven't obviously sea trialed the boat. The boat's still on the hard. But all the displays are done, panels are done, connections are made, networks are interfaced, and it's really come out well. I definitely would have liked to be able to replace all of the panels, the fascia panels, including the panel up there at the where the gauges are, but maybe that'll happen a little bit later on. But right now I think that the owner put the brakes on where he was comfortable, and we have a nice looking helm. There used to be, as you can remember from some of the earlier pictures that I showed you, there's some Ray Marine equipment mixed in with some Garmin equipment, mixed in with an autopilot control that was mounted down here right over the yacht certification. It wasn't a thoughtful installation, and we've tried to correct that and update it a little bit, and I think we've achieved that. One of the things I'm really happy with is just by the way this new panel here has come out. If you remember what the old panel looks like, and I'm going to get that if I can find it here. That was, stand by for a minute, let me see if I can't locate that. Oh, here it is. That old panel used to be over here, and as you can tell, there's a major difference between the color. That old panel used to be down here, and right next to it was a Raytheon fish finder. Now there were a couple different options that we could have done here, but certainly the easiest way would have been to probably use corian and just cover that hole with corian. But it really would have been obvious as far as what we did, and we don't want that to be the case. My whole goal when I get on a boat is I don't want anyone to know I was on the boat. I want to just look like it rolled off the line that way. That's kind of my goal when I start a project. So I think we've come a lot closer to trying to achieve that realization here, particularly in this panel, because it does just look like it's been there from day one, although of course it has not. The other major addition, of course, has been the Furuno Autopilot. That's a new NavPilot 700. This particular configuration is the NavPilot 711. It's a really nice pilot to use, very straightforward, very easy to use. It goes through a self-check, and then it's going to come up with an installation screen because it has yet to be configured or sea trialed. But that system's working well. And the real coup de grace here, the creme de la creme, I should say, are the two Garmin GPS Map 5212s. Really nice system. On a 37, of course, you probably don't need quite this much MFD power in a boat, but the owner wanted to be able to have full screen capability with both radar and chart plotter. Just a whole lot easier to see. The 5212s are networked. The primary 5212 is the center display. The secondary 5212 is the port display. But this really gives a nice presentation. Aesthetically, it's symmetrical, it's balanced, and from a standpoint of just being easy to use, I mean, we all know how easy the Garmin's are to use. They've come a super long way. It's really an amazing system. This gives us the ability here to have a radar, and this gives us the ability, we'll just do cruising, and this gives us the ability here, just do perspective 3D, to have full screen chart and full screen radar, which is really nice. And of course in there you still have your heading, you have your depth, you have your speed. So really in those two screens, you've got pretty much everything you could want. And obviously just to back out again, home, and we're right back out. If we want to go to a combination screen on the one, we can do that, where we have nav, chart, and radar. We can go here, and if we want to have a sonar presentation over here, we can do full screen sonar presentation over here. So again, we're not going to have a good picture there simply because the boat is out of the water, and physics don't allow the signals to work quite on land the way they do in water. So we're not going to have a good picture there, but we do have temperature, indicating that the sensor is installed and operating properly, at least for the temperature. So this is kind of where we're at. All we have to do at this point is do a sea trial and orientation with the owner, which I'm anxious to do, because again, the equipment that was on the boat was really sort of dated. Certainly it worked, but the ability to have a system like this and the flexibility to have a system like this is just really amazing. One of the other things I meant to talk about is if the owner at some point decided to add satellite TV to the boat, both of these screens can take external video input. So if I want to have satellite TV on the boat, I can also pipe that into this displays. If I want to have an engine room camera, I can tie that into displays. If I want to have a backing camera, I can tie that in. So really everything then is right here, and it really makes it very easy to use. The system is fully integrated via NEMA 2000 into the Furuno Autopilot, which is a NEMA 2000 compliant pilot, and it is interfaced into the ICOM M602 via NEMA 183 to enable DSC. So that's kind of where we're at. I hope you've enjoyed this process. It's been a lot of fun. I just love taking a boat and modernizing it and making it not only current and up to date, but a whole lot easier to use. So with that, I'll say so long, and I hope you've enjoyed the presentation.